welcome back to Seasonal Spiels. You might be wondering where we are. So, just a premise, we weren't planning this episode. This is during fall break.
Hence the
setup.
Different setup for sure.
I mean, hey, I don't know about y'all, but I think my car looks great, okay?
It does. It looks better than mine. So.
That's so weird. But yeah, we're kind of in our parking garage right now. I'm not telling you where. But anyway, so it's just because we had some big news we want to talk about. So what we're doing is, instead of talking about Bleach, Uzumaki, and Dandadan, we're going to start off with the big One Piece anime news.
Yes.
Then the Bleach takes, and then we'll finish off with Uzumaki and save Dandadan for what was originally going to be our next episode. So we're just kind of bumping up the schedule is all. But yeah, this is going to be for episode 4. So it should be pretty cool. With that, we're in. Okay, so I don't know if any of y'all know, but, One Piece anime just released, or at least the one I read was on Crunchyroll, an article about the first ever hiatus in its, 25-year run. It's crazy. Y'all...
you told me about that, and I mean, you told me about that yesterday, but I saying, I remember is a little weird, but I remember, being really? It hasn't, even, not, only getting into One Piece recently, I'm it still feels like something that just hasn't, been consistently going for so long that it's, not to say that, it taking a break is bad, it's just, almost unfathomable.
No, for sure. It's, the one consistent show you can count on every season.
Yeah.
I totally get it. In fact, but... aside from, maybe controversial takes on that, I, for one, am very pleased. I've been wanting this and saying this for terrible? For such a terribly long time.
Yes.
That it needs this, because, I'm sorry, Toei, you work hard, and you definitely push your animators hard, because you're putting things out weekly, basically. It's 48 weeks a year out of 52? It's insane. It's a lot. It's definitely in the 40s, for sure. It's a lot of weeks. However, it's, to work around, not killing your animators,
right.
You tend to, slack off on certain episodes, which I get it. The pacing, it could be better. So I'm all for this. I'm fine taking a 6-month hiatus until April, especially because you're dumping a remastered Fishman Island arc, a clean, smooth, streamlined Fishman Island anime. I am all here for that.
Oh, exactly. Even, especially, right after the time skip is a really good thing to do, because I think, the animation is, and not to, I'm not ragging on the animators or anything when I say this, it's just, obviously we're watching the show, so it's a noticeable thing, after the time, or immediately after the time skip, the animation, kind of drops off
it does.
A little bit. Fishman Island and Dressrosa, I think, is where it's really noticeable, and then it starts picking up after that.
I mean, even Whole Cake was kind of iffy. At times,
But that's not even the entire reason that I'm excited about it. It's mainly, you're saying, fixing a lot of the pacing issues and, remastering, an entire arc is just, so... One Piece needs a lot of that.
It deserves it.
It absolutely deserves it.
And,
it has deserved it forever.
It makes me hopeful, too, because if they're doing Fishman Island, will they do, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, Whole Cake?
True.
Are you... Eden Wano? Are you planning this? Guys, I'm here for it, if so, because you know what that means? We'll have Wit starting streamlined East Blue.
Oh,
at the same time, Toei is releasing... maybe not at the same time, because I don't know when the Wit One Piece is coming out. But it'll be around the same time, so if Toei keeps doing, 6 months new content, 6 months remastered, I'm here for that. Because, Egghead also deserves great animation and pacing. I'm sorry, well, One Piece as a whole, but now that we're, here, I think now it's the in-game, they realize they need to give it the time and pacing it deserves, and, the art it deserves as being, one of the best manga ever, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of why we want to talk about it, even though it's, fall break and maybe not the best place, but, we're making it work.
It's hot off the press. So.
It is hot off the press. by the time, by the time this video comes out, it won't be, but,
right now it is.
Right now it is, and I don't know if y'all know, but we love One Piece, so we write.
Yes. Don't know if you know by the outfits.
Just maybe. We might have more One Piece shirts to wear. This kind of stuff. Potentially. But with that, we just wanted to gush and give our thoughts on it. I'm really excited for this. Thank you, Toei, for choosing this. I'm here for it.
It's definitely hyping me up, because I have been procrastinating on continuing the manga for so long, and I'm gonna do that soon. Not that I wasn't going to, but knowing that.
Ooh, well, spoilers, but do you want to know what arc they started?
In the anime recently?
In the manga.
Oh, in the
Can you guess?
I think I know what it is.
Do you know what it is?
Is it Elba?
It's Elba! We are in Elba, baby! Okay, sorry, I'm so excited. Sorry.
No, you're so good. I will be more hyped for that as it transitions, I think, but I'm still like excited to see it.
I will say I'm still more excited for Egghead because I've been in Egghead for the past 2 years. Yeah. And Elbaf, it's the beginning, so it's like the exploration part, but it's like I kind of want to get to the lore part of Elbaf, right? Okay. Just one last thing before we move on to Bleach. Oda, you have to please give Usopp his due. Like, this man has been waiting for this island. Yes. He deserves everything.
Like, that is what... I mean, maybe not the only thing that they're going to that island for.
No, but that's like the main thing. If Usopp doesn't get his due, I'm gonna believe the people when they say Oda's rushing. Like, I'm gonna... If Usopp doesn't get it... Anyway, enough of that. But into Bleach. So, obviously, 1,000-Year Blood War is being animated. I think it's like, the third season or something? I don't know.
It feels like... You're probably right, it just, like, Bleach feels so long to me that it seems like it would be fun, but probably...
I mean, we're One Piece fans, so can we talk? But yeah, I think it's just because Bleach has been out of my mind for so long until this. Like, I mean, I know it had, 1,000 Year Blood, can't talk, 1,000 Blood War. It's like a mouthful there. I know that's been, like, not only airing, but in the works to finish as well, to complete Bleach, but it's also been, like, not something I watched, so I'm not up to date with it or anything, like... Let's get into that, shall we? We dropped Bleach.
Right. I was gonna say, with the 1,000-Year Blood War news, like, I know that it was interesting to me because it seemed like there was a lot of hype around it. And not to say that it doesn't deserve it, but it's just interesting, like, as somebody who did not continue after, like...
the main first arc.
Yeah. Like, not even season 1, I think, just, like, the main first arc. It was interesting because, like... I don't know, again, not that, like, the fans of it are in the wrong for being hyped about it. Because, sure. like, also the 1,000-Year Blood War being animated, I think, like, there was a noticeable, like, step up in animation. Just because, like, the anime itself originally is, like, so old at this point that, like, you can tell, like, the improvement that's being made. So that part of it is, like, really interesting and really hyped to see. But, like, as somebody who doesn't have an interest in, like, continuing it, I'm like, okay, that's cool.
No,
but, like,
yeah.
I don't care.
I mean... I don't know where you stopped, but I dropped it right after they saved Rukia.
I think...
And, like, I think the last episode I watched is, like, when, like, the, I don't remember what they're called, sorry, but, like, when, like, Okiura, I remember his name, and some other blue hair guy showed up and, like, wrecked Ichigo in the real world, and we're like, peace out. I don't remember if they did anything else. That was the last episode I watched. I was like... I mean, I skipped the filler arc in between, but I don't know, like... For me, it has the same issue I think My Hero does. Well, I think it has the exact inverse... problem that I have with My Hero pacing, because My Hero has the really big highs and the really, like, slow lows. Like, like the valleys are just way too long pacing wise for me to, like, stay up to date with My Hero. And even, like, the fights feel like, even as a One Piece fan, it feels dragged out in My Hero sometimes.
Yeah, especially, like, I think because I was watching another podcast talk a little bit about, like, it was My Hero and, like, a few other anime. The main thing is, like, even in the manga, I think it's felt, but a lot of the issue with, like, not to, like, get into My Hero for super long, I think it's mainly that, like, the fights get drawn out, but it's also just, like, the same fight for so long and nothing is happening. I
think that's part of it. It's, like, it's always about Deku, and
it's, like, they're just, with Shigaraki specifically, it's just them, like, chipping away at him but not really doing anything, and then Deku shows up and it's over.
But you had to, like, not have Deku...
had to, like, see nothing happen, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, with the fight, I mean.
Like, in order to build up Deku's hype, and I'm like, I don't need that. Yeah. Like, he's been the Chosen One this whole entire time.
Exactly.
Like, I didn't need you to point it out more, like...
It's, like, character-wise, like, this is interesting, but, like, realistically, like...
It's just
in
a
the
drag.
battle, nothing's going on.
Yeah, I feel like, like, to me, it just drags My Hero out.
Yeah.
And it's just not what I want to see. Whereas Bleach... It feels, like, so compact. Like, when I try to continue watching, I mean, I really enjoyed that first one after, like, that whole... I think it was, like, over multiple seasons that spanned the Rukia arc.
Yeah.
But essentially... sorry, I know I'm... sorry, it got a little darker, so it's a little weird. But anyway. Because, again, parking garage. Can't control the light. My bad. Right. But, with Rukia, like, that was a great arc. And then it ended, and, we went back to the real world, because, like... The Aizen reveal was cool, but, like, it wasn't Ichigo's problem. He saved Rukia. He did this goal. He and his friends went back.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, like, these people show up, and Ichigo's like, I'm not strong enough. And I guess my issue is, like, there's no downtime, which is the opposite issue of My Hero. Like, there's too much downtime in between.
That's a good point,
but also part of it is, I don't know if this is just because I didn't get far enough in Bleach, and didn't continue to the cool Aizen stuff, Aizen centric stuff. But to me, it didn't feel like Ichigo had a reason to do anything. Like, I remember him trying to... I remember, like, I think what happens, like, I think I read up what happens to see if I wanted to continue. I remember, like, reading, like, Orihime gets kidnapped, and I was like, that feels like such a plot device.
Yeah, it just feels like
to make Ichigo do
girl
anything.
That's around, yeah.
I was like, but I think part of it too, on top of that, why I couldn't continue even reading that is because I have no attachment to these characters.
Yeah.
Like, all I've seen of Orihime is her cry about the dead brother and then be like, I need to help Ichigo and get Rukia back. I'm like, cool. But I don't really know much about you. And then Chad actually was a Chad, and I'm like, cool, but I still don't know much about you.
Yeah.
And then, I don't remember his name, but the Quincy guy with the glasses, who was like Ichigo's rival.
Oh, yeah.
Him.
Yeah,
I was like, you seem kind of cool, but I don't know much about you. Like, I feel like there's so little character development for me to continue the story with them at that point. And, you know, feel free to call me out and be wrong, because, like, you know, some people don't like Luffy even after 50 episodes, and I'm like, I can see that. It's like, it's definitely like, because Ichigo at least has a little more sense than Luffy, but that's like the point of Luffy is he's emotional sense, right? He's very aware emotionally. Like, I don't want to get too much into One Piece either, because it's a Bleach episode, but
no, fair.
But that was some of my issues with it.
Yeah, it's very like, because also the podcast that I was watching touched on, not Bleach specifically, but like it is very, like the difference between like older gen anime and newer gen being, there's a ton of differences outside of this, but like one of the things I think Bleach suffers from, at least like with my knowledge of like the early stuff, which is not a ton, but it's mainly that like it's very focused on more so the like powers of the individual, like developing like powers of characters and like making them cooler, which is not cooler, but like it focuses more on developing their powers than it does on their characters. Which is not like, because Bleach is a tough one, because I don't 100% know like how much he changes.
Yeah, I think he like, I know he like controls his hollow side, and that's like the last thing I learned when I read through it. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. Do I think he like I guess part to add on to that from my perspective, after the reason I read up on that and still didn't continue watching to see those cool moments is because that's all I felt that they were. I felt like it was just to get cooler. Like, obviously he needs to beat Aizen, but like at the end of the day, I feel like there's no real need. Like, he needs to rescue Orihime. I don't see. I mean, I'm sure there's some plot that makes him defeat Aizen or something. Like, maybe I don't know what Aizen does to like, provoke Ichigo, but essentially, it just felt like an excuse to just like focus on the development of powers and strength, and not like character development of like their characteristics and like their own shortcomings. Because I think that's also something older. Because I feel like that's also something older anime have in the fact that there isn't as many character flaws to focus and delve deep in. Well, maybe not older anime, maybe older like big shonen.
Not all anime. It's mainly shonen.
Because a lot of them were like more episodic back then, I think. Yeah. And like the ones,
it's like you get a cool dude that you can care about like surface level, and you see him do cool things.
Yeah.
Because it's fine if it's like a week, but if you're like trying to binge it, it doesn't really work that well.
Yeah. I will say though, 1,000 Year Blood War does look kind of cool. Do I know what's going on? No. The only thing I think I know is that something about like Quincy King is like attacking Soul Society. I think that's already happened, because I don't know if you've seen it. I don't want to spoil you too much if you're okay, unless you're okay with spoilers. I mean, I probably
like if I watch it, I'm not gonna be like super invested in like getting spoiled. Or not,
but apparently, like this King Quincy attacks. I don't know what his name is, but like he's got this black hair, and like he attacks, and like the the old guy with the long beard who was like the chief of all the captains or whatever. He fights him and he dies. But but apparently it's like a super good and well animated fight. Like it's supposed to be really cool, and apparently it's like the first time you ever see that captain. Bankai, and I'm like, okay, and it's like, and apparently, like, I think, like, he raises the undead or something, and it's a lot of flame, like, I think he is, like, I think what I read was, like, there's, like, multiple versions of his Bankai, and it's, like, flame-oriented, and you can, like, raise some undead and stuff, or, like, souls or something, and I was like, okay, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, like,
so, if only for the fights, like, I mean, Bleach is really good about that, I think, like, the cool fights, I mean, I feel like Bleach is just, like, one of the core definitions of cool when you think of cool anime, right, is Bleach. Not to say that that's a bad thing again. Like, I just dropped it because I just... Well, at the point where I was in the anime, what I wanted was not there, is all.
Yeah, because I think, like, my main draw of it, and again, it's been, like, a minute since I've, like, looked at it, but I think if I'm remembering, like, how I felt at the time about it, my main pull of it was, like, him and Rukia, not necessarily, like, even romantically, like, character dynamic-wise, like, I really liked seeing them on screen together. And, like, as soon as because she gets kidnapped, like, early on.
Yeah, I think it's, like, I don't know how the seasons are broken up, but, like, it's early on.
Yeah, and I know that, like, like, with how early it is, I don't even think you get a whole lot of time with them together. But, like, my main draw was, like, oh, I want to keep watching to see, like, where they go after he rescues her. And then, like, it just took so... I think the main thing that I stopped watching it for was that it took so long to get to that point. And
okay,
I'm like,
that's
I
fair.
don't... Like, I don't want to have to sit through this just to get to, like, maybe an interesting character dynamic anymore.
Gotcha. I think for me, the reason I stayed and finished the Rukia arc, and why I think part of the reason I didn't care after, is because I lost the mystery vibes that had.
True.
Because you were so curious about, well, why Rukia? Like, she gave her powers to Ichigo, but, like, this mysterious relationship between her and her brother and this, like, this friend of hers who also is kind of angry at her.
Yeah.
But then, once you get to Soul Society, you have the mystery of, like, these murders, and then Aizen is murdered, right? He's murdered. And you're, like, so curious, and then, like, I think it was, like, the government there was murdered, and they were like, who did it? And then Aizen is murdered, and they're like, who did it?
Right.
And I think I love that in the background. Like, it wasn't what Ichigo cared about, and so it felt like a world bigger than Ichigo. And I think part of the reason I didn't care to continue is because it just was... Ichigo was, like, the world. Like, it suddenly became... what he's doing is so worldly important.
Yeah,
to the point where it's just, like, it doesn't feel like there's more of a world outside of what he does, and that, like, and that, again, isn't a bad thing. Like, but even something more recent that might suffer from a similar problem, like Demon Slayer, I like it because, yeah, the whole point is, like, you gotta kill Muzan, and that's, like, worldly important, so Tanjiro has a big importance, but not to, like, the world at large, because most people don't know demons exist.
True.
And so I think that helps.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, then like I already said, I feel like after that, the whole Aizen thing, and again, I don't have full knowledge, so this is me guesstimating based on what I remember.
Yes.
But it felt like we have to stop Aizen, like, and it's up to Ichigo because he's, like, special, and not the chosen one, but, like, he's obviously, like...
the one who can do it, I guess.
The one who can do it. Like, I think he's the most impressive because he's human, and he's, like, a Soul Reaper and has a hollow. Like, he's got everything going on, right? Something special to him. I don't know what. I don't know. Good genes.
Red hair.
Red hair. For real. But yeah, and not to say that, like, that isn't another anime. I think that's just part of why I dropped it.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably it.
Honestly, yeah. Because I, like... And I don't even necessarily know that, like, I stopped watching it out of, like, I don't like this anymore. It might have literally just been that, like, I stopped watching it for something else, and then I was like, I don't really care to go back to it.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think that is it. Because I stopped it to take... I think originally I stopped it to be like, I need a break, because it feels, like, way too quick between these two arcs.
Yeah.
And then I watched something else. I don't know what.
Yeah,
and then I just never went back because I never felt interested enough. Like, even... Like I said, even though 1,000 Year Blood War looks pretty cool, I probably still won't pick it up because I just...
Yeah, same.
I don't have a desire to watch these characters. I just don't, like...
Like, if I'm to watch any content from it, ittle be, like, clips of, like, the
clips
cool fights.
of the cool fights. I've seen those.
I don't care enough to go through a whole season of it.
I think that's... And again, not to say that's... well, I guess it is kind of a weakness in our eyes because we didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
But, like, that might not be a weakness of 1,000 Year Blood War. Do I think it's a weakness of that, like, where I was in the anime? Yeah, I do. Because again, maybe I stopped right before more character development. I could have, you know, I don't know. I didn't continue.
Yeah.
So, like, there's not... But it was kind of a weakness that I didn't get enough to want to continue, I think. Without, like, it being a plot development of, like, oh, Orihime's kidnapped, rescue my friend 2.0. Like, it just felt like the same plot. But, like, against Aizen and Hollows instead of Soul Reapers. But anyway. Yeah, so that's our take on Bleach. Yeah. And now, Uzumaki.
I think I have more thoughts on this than you do.
Yeah,
it's honestly not a lot to talk about, but, like...
We can also plug other shows we didn't before and things if we want to do that too, because I know I haven't watched Uzumaki, but I have been watching some shows that I want to recommend.
Yeah. Uzumaki, okay, so as of recording this, the 3rd episode I don't think is out yet. Or, like, if it is, I can't find it anywhere, so I haven't seen it. But episode 2, oh my god, the animation. Like, I know that that's what everybody is talking about with it, is that the fall off in animation from, like, episode 1 to 2 is, like, so, like, insanely noticeable that it's, like, how did this even happen? Yeah. And I think, like, I heard a little bit, because the one thing, I know that the main reason for it, or at least, like, there are outside factors, I believe, but, like, one of the things not helping is that the director and the studio for episode 1 is different from, I think, 2 through 4.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, why?
That's the thing I don't know, because I heard that, like,
that's really rare.
Yeah.
Like, in the same season.
I don't know why that happened, because I think, like, one of the directors, I think the new director potentially somebody that like worked on it. Don't know if it was a director, but somebody that like had say in like what they were doing with the project. Like commented a little bit on, it might have been Twitter, but it might have been somewhere else, just online in general. That like they clearly like they knew that like what they were putting out was not like what they wanted the finished product to be. But like he was like debating like, do I want to like put this out even though it's like noticeably like
worse,
degraded in quality, or because he was mentioning like, I want to be respectful to the people that like put a lot of work into this, so I want to release it anyway. And he was saying that there was like stuff going on behind the scenes that like made it this way, and I don't know, like I don't think he went into what it was, and but yeah, it's just like all that sucks, and you know, but the animation was, and it like on first watch it's pretty bad, I will not lie to you, but it's not like, there are moments where I'm like, okay, this is like goofy, like there's a shot of it's like Kirie, Shuichi, and then like two other kids. They're like running away from the kids' parents, because I won't get into like all of what's going on, but there's like a shot of them like running on the beach, and it looks so bad. Like if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And like it's just like little moments like that are like, okay, that looks goofy. But like overall, yes, it's like worse than the first one for sure, but like overall it's honestly not
bad,
the worst thing I've ever seen. And I think like I've also seen complaint, because my other thing is that I have not read the source material, so I don't know how much they're chopping up, because I have heard that like a lot of the individual stories that they put in episode 2 are like not like in order or something like that, to where it's like really choppy in the anime where it isn't in the manga, I think. And like that could be the case, but like honestly, watching the episode not having read the source material, I didn't really mind it. Like it was kind of fun, because Uzumaki like as a whole is kind of a silly story to begin with. It's like the fact that they like cut up a bunch of individual like it's mainly like people like struggling like with how the spiral manifests. So they like take a lot of those like individual stories and like throw them in one episode, and I didn't really hate that. Like I saw people like, I think there was like a divide on that aspect of it too, and I'm like, hey, I don't know how much better it is in the manga, but like this is fine to me. Like I don't really, that's not the issue for me really.
I do feel bad though that there was a drop off in quality. Though I will say, I don't want to get too hung up over it, but the studio change is really interesting.
It is. I know.
I'm surprised, because
like I don't know why
that usually happens seasonal, like like
not in a
like
4-episode anime.
Not in a 4 like I get it if you can't avoid it, like the studio goes under, but usually they've already finished the anime. So it's interesting that they only finished one episode, either like, you know, then like went bankrupt and couldn't do anything and like closed, or if they just moved it and gave it to some other studio. I don't know, that's interesting. But that is kind of sad, and I just don't want to watch Uzumaki. I just don't know if I'll ever get to it. But we'll also have more Uzumaki thoughts for our last episode of the season when we conclude fall anime. So yeah, but that's actually really interesting. But that's all for this episode. So sorry for the weird visuals. Sorry if it looks weird and stuff, and if it's in and out of focus. Again, we're in my car in a parking garage over fall break.
We're doing our best.
We're doing our best. We will be back in the usual place for the final 2 episodes of the season. I promise. But yeah, so that was it. Those were our thoughts on Bleach. Just some anime news, obviously, going on today. But yeah, stay tuned for next episode, where we will be talking about Don again, because we want to. We'll also talk about Blue Box, if only because it's, I feel like, one of the bigger shonen jumps that's getting animated. Anything else we feel like talking about before, because it'll be our second to last episode of the season. Our last episode will be another penultimate exactly. Our penultimate episode of the season. Again, keep with us if you like what you're hearing, preferably good audio. But yes, anyway, so this is it for Seasonal Spiels, episode 4. Again, I'm Quincy Lell.
And I'm Audrey Williams.
Have a good one.